Alright guys, so we are currently having our weather report right now on CCNATION News. As you can see, it is dark, it is raining, and right now we currently have a tornado warning that should expire in about, 25 minutes. There's thunder, there's lightning. So everyone that's in the New Albany area, my suggestion is stay indoors. There could be a tornado on the ground. This is your weather report. I just saw a lightning flash there. So this has been your CCNATION News weather report, and we're going to get on the way with our breaking news story of the day.
This is Channels Television's breaking news.
Alright guys, we have some breaking news. Past week we've had a missing submarine go missing. It's Ocean Gate's Titan. So on last Sunday, the submarine was going to visit the wreckage of the Titanic. The mission was supposed to take about a couple hours. They were supposed to arrive somewhere in the evening. But so when the ship began its descent into the ocean, an hour and 45 minutes after it got deployed, it lost contact with the mother ship. And that led everybody into a panic. Everybody searching the ocean. Apparently, the Titan vessel had an hour and 45. No, they apparently had 4 days of oxygen. It's like 96 hours. And they'd run out of that oxygen this past Thursday at 7 a.m. if we didn't find them in time. There's the picture of what the vessel looks like. The chances of rescuing the 5 people on board the missing Titan submersible have dropped drastically as the vessel's oxygen supply likely expired on Thursday morning. Titan's mothership lost contact with the submersible on Sunday about 1 hour and 45 minutes into its dive to the wreck of the Titanic. The Coast Guard has led a massive search effort covering the area, twice the size of Connecticut, and has so far failed to locate the vessel either above or below the water. Titan's oxygen supply is expected to run out by this past Thursday. The 5 people on board are the CEO, Stockton Rush, who founded the company, who owns and operates Titan, British businessman Hamish Harding, French diver Paul Henry Nargeolet, Pakistani billionaire Shazda Dawood, and his 19-year-old son, Solomon. The fate of Titan, those on board, it remained unknown. However, about 4 days later, we got an update on the submarine. The Titanic's wreckage is roughly 13,000 feet below the North Atlantic Ocean. So that's how far they're going. Apparently, the Titan vessel does not have any sort of locating beacon. The only way to communicate with the submersible was through short text messages. So that's how it contacts with the vessel, through text. Not sonar or any other method, just text, which is a bit suspicious. But we got an update. 2 days later, we found out that the missing Titanic subcrew was killed after an implosion. James Cameron, who's made 33 trips to the Titanic, is an expert sea diver, expert pilot who's built his own submarines. He's also a film director. Much respect towards him. He expressed his opinion on the missing Titan submarine. But we know that there is an implosion. The Titanic found submersible that went missing on Sunday with 5 people on board, suffered an implosion which killed everyone on board. U.S. Coast Guard found the tail cone of Titan about 1,600 feet away from the Titanic. 5 people were on board, including the CEO and a couple of billionaires, and there was a 19-year-old kid on that vessel. The submersible was descending to explore the wreckage. After an hour and 45 minutes, it lost contact. The director worries an implosion have a negative impact on citizen explorers. The Titanic director says that the news did not come as a surprise. Passengers are believed to be dead. White House thanks the Coast Guard for the search efforts. So then the timeline, June 18th, site was submerged at 8 a.m. a 96-hour oxygen supply. An hour and 45 minutes later, the sea craft lost contact with its operator. The United States Coast Guard, they received a report of an overdue submersible. Titan was supposed to resurface at 3 p.m. Monday, the Coast Guard began looking for the vessel of the Canadian Armed Forces. Tuesday, June 20th, multiple aircrafts they fly over the Atlantic Ocean looking for signs of surfacing. There were reports of banging that were picked up by sonar, but nothing has yet been confirmed. Wednesday, June 21st, a Canadian aircraft reportedly detected voices underwater in the search area. Searches have yielded negative results, but the search continued. Thursday, June 22nd, Coast Guard announced that a remote operated vehicle searched the seafloor, and debris field discovered within the area of the Titanic. Ocean Gate Expeditions issued a statement believing that all 5 people aboard are dead. So my thoughts on this, I'm not really surprised. I heard a lot of things about this vessel. It wasn't certified, it wasn't tested. There's only like one window. You don't control it with steering wheel, you control it with an Xbox controller. Anybody in the vessel can control it. I don't think anybody in that vessel was an experienced pilot. But Stockton Rush's CEO said himself, he said a 16-year-old kid could pilot the vessel. This vessel has taken multiple trips to the Titanic. And every trip they had, there was some kind of problem. Now, as to what caused this implosion, we don't know. There could have been a mechanical problem electrically, the electrical circuits. There could have been a problem with the tail cone. Maybe there was pilot error. Maybe it was the material made out of. It's made out of a composite carbon fiber hull with titanium rings. That's a little bit sketchy for sea diving. Now, airplanes do use carbon fiber. That fiber is rigorously tested and monitored. If that carbon fiber gets a hole or a scratch, something catastrophic could happen. This thing, I don't think was monitored or rigorously tested. It wasn't certified by the state. They might have self-certified it, but we don't know what those protocols consisted of. I like to see the safety record and the maintenance record for this vessel. If this vessel had made reported trips to the Titanic, the vessel could have suffered some damage that they weren't aware of. And by the time it made its third trip down there, the damage could have been too much for Titan, so it just imploded. Because the pressure, 13,000 feet in the ocean, it's powerful. More pressure than space. It's like the pressure got to the vessel. Now, my question is, why did the CEO let this happen? He's a billionaire. You think this guy would take every obstacle it takes to do something like this? And there's two types of billionaires. There's one that invests his money and saves his money the right way. And then there's the other billionaire that's just cheap. He cheats his way to the top. Stockton Rush, that type of guy, I don't know. Why didn't he want to go through a certification process with the state government? I guess he didn't. Maybe he didn't have the funds. Maybe he didn't have the patience. But I don't know. Lawsuit is expected, and more answers will come. But yeah, this is very troubling, especially for the 19-year-old kid. He didn't want to get on that vessel, but he did anyway. For Father's Day. It's sad. I can't really point fingers at anybody, although the CEO is the guy at the top, so I guess he does share some of the blame. But they also got to blame some of the passengers. They spent $250,000 to get on this vessel that wasn't certified, had problems with the past, which doesn't make any sense. But oh well, these guys knew the risk, and they paid the price. I knew something like this was going to happen. I knew it. 2 years ago, the Titanic 2 was announced to set sail. It's an exact replica of the original Titanic, and it will go along the same route as the Titanic. And I was like, if the original Titanic sank along that route, what's made me think that the second Titanic won't sink? Well, it turns out it did. This isn't Titanic 2, but this is an example of what could happen to Titanic 2 if that ever happens. But yeah, the curse of the Titanic strikes again. What's odd is that Stockton Rush's wife is a descendant of one of the Titanic victims. So I guess that's their motive for trying to find the wreckage of the Titanic. Good. Anyway, this is CCNATION news. Titan implodes, 5 people dead, including the CEO, Stockton Rush. Guess what they say is true. The captain goes down with the ship. This is what he wanted. I guess this is what he gets. That's my thoughts on the missing submarine.